Excellencies, can we be upstanding for the ECOWAS anthem? Please be seated. And members of the media, you have 5 minutes to take your close-up shots, after which we would start the program. Five minutes. Thank you, press. Thank you. Thank you. Merci. Merci beaucoup.
Your Excellencies, heads of state and government and members of the ECOWAS Authority, representatives of member states, President of the ECOWAS Commission, Chair of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers, ECOWAS mediator on the Mali crisis, representative of the African Union for Mali, representative of the United Nations Secretary General in Mali, ladies and gentlemen, I thank Your Excellencies sincerely for making this journey to Accra once again at such short notice for a matter that could have grave consequences for the peace and stability of our region. The recent happenings in Mali have again raised anxiety levels in the region and have somewhat shaken the hope many had of a peaceful, successful transition, which will result in the return to a democratic government in Mali and ultimately and hopefully the political stability of the country. Excellencies, you will recall that following the military takeover on 18th August 2020 in Mali, which led to the resignation of President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta. At the 57th Ordinary Summit, which was convened in Niamey, the capital of the Republic of Niger, on 7th September 2020, the ECOWAS authority called for the establishment of a civilian-led transition in Mali for a period of 12 months. In furtherance of this, a mini-summit of 8 ECOWAS heads of state and government and members of the National Committee for the Salvation of the People, CNSP, was held at the Pedrassi Lodge, Aburi, Ghana, on 15 September 2020. The meeting afforded the leadership of the CNSP the opportunity to interact with heads of state and government and agree an outline and roadmap for the political transition. After thorough deliberations, the mini-summit came up with the following key decisions. 1, the political transition is to be headed by civilians in accordance with the decisions of the authority of ECOWAS. That is, both the president and the prime minister of the transition will be civilians during the entire period. Secondly, the transition vice president, provided in the transition charter, who is the head of the CNSP, shall not succeed the transition president. 3, the CNSP be dissolved immediately the civilian transition is put in place. 4, the length of the political transition should not last more than 18 months, effective 15 September 2020. Fifthly, once a civilian-led transition is put in place, ECOWAS will shepherd the Republic of Mali towards the restoration of constitutional rule in line with the relevant ECOWAS protocols. And sixthly, sanctions of ECOWAS against Mali were to be lifted when the transitional president and prime minister are effectively designated and appointed. Consequently, on 20th September 2020, the president and vice president of the transitional government were appointed. And on 27th September, the prime minister of the transitional government was also appointed. 2 months after this, the appointment and swearing in of the members of the National Transitional Council took place. Prior to the inauguration of the NTC, and in the spirit of solidarity and reassurance, I paid an official visit to Mali with the ECOWAS mediator on the Malian crisis, His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, excuse me, and other members of the ECOWAS mediation on 11th October 2020 to meet with the new Malian authorities to assess the progress made in the transition process, which appeared to be satisfactory. Excellencies, the sudden dissolution by the president of the transition of the government headed by Prime Minister Mokhtar Wan on 14th May 2021, and the reappointment of the Prime Minister by the President of the transition with instructions to form a new broad-based government generated considerable tension between various groups, particularly the military, as the former ministers for defense and security were not reappointed in the new government which was announced on 24th May 2021. It is unfortunate that this dissolution of the transitional government occurred just a few days after the visit of the mediator, His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, who was not informed by the transitional authorities of this development. Following the announcement of the new government, the President and the Prime Minister of the transitional government were held in custody by the military. In view of the gravity of the situation, I asked the mediator to lead a high-level mission to Mali, which included the chair of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers and the president of the Commission, to assess the situation and report back to me. The ECOWAS delegation held consultations with Colonel Assimi Goita, Vice President of the Transition Government, on the situation at hand, to consider the most appropriate exit strategy to the crisis. The ECOWAS delegation demanded the immediate and unconditional release of the President and Prime Minister of the transition and other detainees. The delegation was able to meet with the President of the transition and the Prime Minister on Wednesday, 26th of May 2021, who informed them that they had tendered their resignation. Later that night, these two most senior transitional officials were released from detention. The remaining detainees, according to the military hierarchy, have also been released. Excellencies, the delegation also discussed the way forward for the political transition in Mali with the Vice President. The mediator will, in his report to the closed session of this emergency summit, tell us more about these exchanges. I urge Your Excellencies to remain resolute in supporting the people of Mali to find a peaceful solution and restore democracy and stability in the country. In this respect, we must critically examine the dynamics of the current situation and make informed decisions. I'm thus using this opportunity to reiterate, on behalf of ECOWAS, our continued commitment to the peaceful transition in Mali with a basic goal of restoring democratic government and working for the stability of Mali and of our region. I thank you for availing yourselves for this emergency summit and for your attention, and I bring this brief opening ceremony to a close.
Thank you very much, Excellency. And with that, I entreat members of the media to step up now. It's time for us to go out. Later in the day, when the final communique is released, we'll ask you to come in. So please, members of the media.
The closed session will be just of the heads of state and of the members of the mediation led by His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan. There'll be no other people in the room other than the heads of state and representatives of the member states and the members of the mediation delegation.
Security, please, take charge. Media, thank you. Let's go on. Let's go on.